This is a Sierra Railway number 3, arguably the most widely viewed locomotive in the world. Since 1920, it has appeared in over 100 movies and TV shows, from the hit Back to the Future Part 3. 1992's Academy Award Winning Unforgiven, and Little House on the Prairie.
Get back inside! We're gonna hit!
Even before becoming a California movie star, the engine endured an interesting history and was later almost intentionally wrecked for a film. The locomotive that we know today as Sierra Railway number 3 started life some 700 miles away in Arizona. It was built by the Rogers Locomotive and Machine Works in March 1891 for the Prescott and Arizona Central Railway. The P&AC was incorporated in 1885 by New Yorker Thomas S. Bullock, representing a New York syndicate and a crew of local frontier businessmen. Their challenge? Build a 70-mile line across the desert and mountains in less than a year to connect with the Atlantic and Pacific Railroad, speeding up the transport of ores from the mines. The prize? Yavapai County's subsidy if trains rolled into town by New Year's Day 1887. Right from the get-go, Bullock's company suffered from a shortage of capital and railroad equipment, resulting in the line being built poorly. By candlelight on New Year's Eve 1886, crews managed to nail in the final spikes. On New Year's Day, the first train rolled into town, but the celebration didn't last. Early praise turned to outrage as tracks washed out, freight rates soared, and derailments became routine. Bullock, seen as an outsider, became a target for frustration, especially after undercutting and gutting the Teamsters business before hiking prices. Behind the scenes, Bullock's feud with one of the company's officers, Nathan Oakes Murphy, came to a head. Murphy was a powerful businessman, politician, and soon to be the 10th acting governor of the Arizona Territory. His ousting from the P&AC helped launch a rival, the Santa Fe, Prescott, and Phoenix Railway, which reached Prescott by 1893 and siphoned away shippers. The once promising line limped along until Bullock refused to sell, instead guiding it into receivership, benefiting his own construction company. Although Bullock's short tenure in Arizona ended in controversy, his reputation as a cunning businessman followed him west to California. There he would start a new railroad company called the Sierra Railway, along with Prince Andrei Poniatowski, a French-born descendant of the King of Poland, and finally William H. Crocker. Incorporated on February 1, 1897, this short line would capitalize on the booming lumber and mining industries in Tuolumne County. The main line originally started at Oakdale, where it connected with the Santa Fe and Southern Pacific Railroads, and continued 41 miles eastward to Jamestown. By 1900, it would be extended 16 miles further east to its terminus at Tuolumne. For a short period, Sierra No. 3 was the railroad's largest and most powerful locomotive used in mainline service. It lost its title in 1906 when the railway's new Baldwin 280 No. 18 arrived on the property. By 1916, its use in freight service ultimately ended and was relegated to helper and relief duty on passenger trains. During its esteemed career, the 10-wheeler was involved in several accidents. One of the most notable wrecks occurred in 1918, where it hit a broken rail and rolled over onto its side into an embankment. Miraculously, both engine crew members survived, and only its wooden cab was seriously damaged. Sierra ended up having to purchase and replace the cab with a second-hand steel cab from the Southern Pacific in 1919. As the 1920s came around, the railway's profit margin continued to shrink because of the rising cost of gold mining and competing buses and trucks. Luckily, lumber shipments and dam construction contracts bolstered the company's finances and allowed it to modernize at a critical point. Around the same time, Sierra would also gain an alternative source of revenue: movies. Naturally, Tuolumne County was a perfect backdrop for these motion pictures because of the picturesque scenery and historic charm of its gold country towns. It is believed the Sierra Railway was first featured in a hold-up scene in Universal Pictures' silent serial, The Red Glove, in 1919. Number 3's first confirmed appearance on the big screen was in William Fox's 1920 film called The Terror. Tom Mix, who plays a U.S. Deputy Marshal, jumps onto a train and engages in a gunfight on Number Three's tender. In 1929, the locomotive next appeared in The Virginian, starring Gary Cooper and Walter Houston. In the cinema world, this movie has the distinction of being the first sound film shot entirely on location rather than a soundstage.
You blow that whistle again, and I'll blow you right out of that cab. Well, old keeper, how'd you like that?
From 1930 to 1932, Number 3 would star in 5 more films before it was retired by Sierra, who had gone bankrupt. In 1937, the company exited receivership and was reorganized as the Sierra Railroad, though engine number 3 would languish next to the railroad's turntable in Jamestown for another 12 years. In 1943, the locomotive was almost sold for scrap by general manager Joseph Earl Taylor, but was talked out of it by the railroad's master mechanic Bill Tremulin. In 1945, film scouts for David O. Selznick's Duel in the Sun approached the railroad to arrange staging a train wreck for the movie. As the story goes, they saw the forlorn Number 3 and thought it would perfectly fit the part. However, Tremulin outright refused the request. Now, some claim his choice was purely sentimental, but in actuality, it was more likely because of practical reasons. Sierra 280 number 18, the railroad's other movie engine, was still in active freight service and was due for boiler work within the next few years. That left Number 3 as the only other viable option to deliver the vintage film look filmmakers wanted. Ultimately, Number 18 was the engine they ended up using in that movie, but rather than wrecking it, large-scale models were used instead. In mid-1947, Sierra's Jamestown shop began restoring Number 3 back into service as a pet project and became operational again in May 1948. For nearly 50 years, Sierra Number 3 pulled excursion trains and starred in dozens of more films, TV shows, and commercials.
Ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction.
Notable appearances include 1952's High Noon, which earned Gary Cooper an Oscar for Best Actor, and Unforgiven in 1992, directed by Clint Eastwood, which won Best Picture at the Academy Awards. By far its most famous role was in Robert Zemeckis' Back to the Future Part 3, starring Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd.
If we could figure out a way to push it up to 88 miles an hour. Huh?
One misconception I wanted to address about the locomotive in this video is that many say its whistle was used in the 2004 animated Christmas movie, The Polar Express. During my research, I corresponded with Skywalker Sound, the studio that mixed the movie's audio, and staff from Railtown 1897, which is the current-day owner of Sierra Number 3. Both had confirmed that its whistle wasn't the one featured in the movie. In 1995, Number 3 was removed from active service following revised locomotive boiler regulations in light of the Gettysburg Railroad accident. Consequently, the engine would require a costly complete rebuild, including a brand new boiler. Initially, cost estimates projected the project requiring $600,000 to complete, but that number sharply rose to $1.6 million. During fundraising, Clint Eastwood helped champion its restoration and called the locomotive a treasured old friend. After 15 years, on July 3, 2010, Sierra Number 3 returned to operable condition. While it hasn't been in a major film or TV role since the 90s, the 10-wheeler has been pulling regular seasonal passenger excursions for thousands of tourists. The Sierra Railroad Company still pulls freight to this day, though under the operating name of the Sierra Northern Railway. I want to thank Mike Ninneman for assisting in the research that went into this episode and for providing video footage of Sierra number 3 in operation. Make sure you also check out Mike's YouTube channel, Sierra Railway, for more great videos of the locomotive. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. To help support the channel, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to Railroad Street.